So the typical computer applications in iron and steel industry actually has a set of hierarchical approach. Hierarchy in the sense that how different process parameters are displayed, monitored, recorded, and controlled, at different stages. For this, we need to understand this hierarchy first. Once you understand this hierarchy, and then once you understand the typical control systems in any given process, uh, ultimately what you will be doing is you will be connecting all these to the CPU. That means every computer control system will have two different approaches. One is either you do it through a SCADA mode. SCADA means supervisory control and data acquisition system, right? That's the abbreviation. SCADA is called supervisory control and data acquisition system. See, in every computer control system, what you will have, because most of you have, I'm not going deep into the computer interface because you all have done already the computer, how a PC based instrumentation you already have studied. So essentially what you will have in PC based instrumentation, you have a CPU, and to that CPU you have input port and output ports you have, right? So for input ports, you are giving the signals, all the input signals in the sense plant inputs. You see at the bottom, you will be connecting the plant inputs, and then you have a certain logic program depending on the algorithm how every standalone process controller here. Every standalone process controller means independent process controller. So each process controller will have its own logarithm and its own logic, depending on whether it is a on-off control, or it is a proportional control, or integral control, or a PI control, or PID controller, proportional, integral, and derivative controller, or cascading controller. You have number of such controllers. So when you do this, all the standalone process controllers actually are processing all the process inputs, which are nothing but plant inputs. Plant inputs means different process parameters. What are the different process parameters? You have again temperature, pressure, flow, level. And again, you may have different other things, but most commonly, these are the most common plant inputs that you are getting, although there may be different other process parameters depending on the individual process. Here, process in the sense, we need to understand it's only each unit operation. We have seen what is a unit operation in a process. Your heating system is a unit operation. What are the heating systems? Furnace is one heating operation. Boiler is one heating operation, right? Evaporator is one unit operation. Like that, we will see when it comes to petrochemical industry, what are the different unit operations. So each unit operation is being controlled by taking in the process input parameters, verifying it with the standalone process controllers, again sending back the control output to the process. So this is exactly what is happening at independent. That means we also call them as standalone process controllers. Now these process controllers, you will have hundreds or thousands in a big process plant. Why? Because every unit operation you will have, if you take just heating alone, whether it is a furnace or a small oven or a small autoclave, so you will have number of such parameters. You may have tens of autoclaves spread all over the process plant. So that is the reason why the standalone processors are directly controlling that particular unit operation for a given algorithm or for a given logic, how it should be controlled. So this is exactly what happens at level 1 of the control. Then you will see from this onwards, you have more of data that's being collected, right? So as I said, if you have tens of 20, 30, 40 such process controllers, if you take a very big petrochemical or refinery, you will have hundreds of these process controllers. So each process controller is giving data to a direct digital controller here. Okay, So the direct digital controller basically taking in the data from individual controllers and again giving back to the data. And this data will be in terms of the set points, considering the thing, what is the set point for a particular thing. That's how the data will be flowing in and out from the standalone process controllers at the level 1. Okay, then at level 0, probably it may be level 0. Actually, it is what happens is level 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably the diagram is misrepresented, or you can take it as level 0, 1, 2, 3, because when you take just control, this is level 0. Okay, because this is all the process. When it comes to just hierarchical control, this is a level 0. Now, you will see apart from this, to level 1 also, there is a direct input plant, direct intake of plant inputs, and at the same time, outputs are given to the process. So in some cases, your direct digital control may have to monitor and control the process directly apart from the standalone process controllers. In the sense, there is a small confusion here which you need to avoid. So these standalone process controllers are for different unit operations. But for the entire process, you may have to take some plant inputs and then take the output from the digital control. And that is exactly what is this. Don't get confused that you have two sets of plant inputs and output to the plant. Okay. So the standalone process controllers are for independently controlled unit operations. And then this is for the entire process or a combination of unit operations. You will never know that in a particular system or a subsystem, you may have a combination of unit operations which are to be controlled by directly by direct digital control. In that case, this data is there. Okay, I hope this is clear now. Now at this level 1, we have direct digital control. We also call it as a DTC. From this onwards, it is just a transfer of data. It is more of data acquisition system. Data acquisition system. That is the reason why I said there are two types of basic one. Number one is through SCADA, supervisory controller and data acquisition system. And another thing is direct controls, right? Involving the, like your PC based control, where the CPU is directly controlling all the process parameters in the plant. Like if the process is a bit small, you can have one PLC connected to that, and that PLC can be a standalone process controller, programmable logic controller, or you can have a microcontroller based controller fixed to a particular unit operation, or you can have a PID controller, like this number of such controllers. But the major limitation of direct control is always, you would have experienced in PC based instrumentation, that it is not always possible to connect so many plant inputs for a given process module or a computer module, that is input port. And your input port cannot accommodate so many plant inputs. That's the reason why we go for a SCADA, where you have independent controllers and only the data is being processed, communicated, transmitted, and received at different stages. Okay, so your first direct digital controller is acting as a data acquisition system from the standalone process controllers and directly with the process. This is how the thing. Now, this direct digital controller is always connected to operator's console. Console in the sense it is just a display system or a display monitor, where you have the display of everything what is happening in the process, whatever up to this standalone process controllers and direct digital controllers, it will be displayed clearly in operator's console. Okay, so that's exactly what happens up to this stage. Then when you go to next level, which is nothing but supervisor's level, where you will have a supervisory control, because this supervisory control again is getting the data from direct digital control direct digital control, again your data is given back to the direct control. So whatever it is, the input data, and this is the controlled data, whether it is the depending on the logic, if the input data of so many unit operations is this, what should be the output that is given to the direct digital controller, and that is what the data coming back to the digital controller. So here again you will have a supervisory controller, supervisory console. Supervisory console is nothing but again a display system. It can be a huge monitor or it can be a computer monitor. That's what we normally call it as a console. So you will have a supervisory console which has this P and ID diagram displayed continuously with live displaying the live status of different control elements, whether they are the switches, relays, motors, actuators, sensors, valves, whatever is there depicted in that, they will all be displayed live either in green or in red. Okay, if it is functioning according to the set point, it is displayed as green. If there is some error or deviation, it is displayed as red. That's how the supervisory control takes place. Now you will see here again, you have communications with other DDC systems. As I said again, your SCADA is a huge network of connecting different DDCs, that is direct digital control systems. These direct digital control systems are spread all over the process industry. As we have learned earlier, a typical large scale process industry would have spread in large area. It may one end to another end, it may lead to 2 to 3 kilometers also. That would be the size of the thing. In that case, imagine how you are communicating with the different direct digital control systems which are distributed all over the process plant. That's one point. That's where we have the supervisory controller. You have the communication going to other DDCs, again coming back from the DDCs to the supervisory control. Then the next level is management MIS, we normally call it as management information system. Okay, so you will have another console where it is clearly on. They will not be displayed all these things. Whatever is displayed at the operator console, you may not be displaying them here. But what you will be displaying here is only relevant to the supervisory control, only displayed in supervisor's control. Whereas in operator's control, what operators require for that particular standalone process controllers alone. But when it comes to management information system, the entire production planning and control, we normally call it as, for what should be the process, tonnage of process, and how much we are planning for production today, and how much it is running, and hourly planning will be there. According to this production planning and control, your management information console will be displayed here. This is again communicating with other supervisory systems. So this is, we normally call it as a hierarchical approach, hierarchical system in a typical automation or typical computer applications in iron and steel industry. This is again what you need to remember is, it's like again a story where it goes. This is a very, very general block diagram of a computer applications in a typical process industry. But what happens when it comes to directly to iron and steel industry? And iron and steel industry, only what will be changing? Your process here will be changing. So in terms of process, if you are asked to say for the sake of examination, if you are asked the computer applications in iron and steel industry. What you are putting? You are putting an iron and steel industry here, right? And mentioning that what are all the different plant inputs and what are the typical standalone process controllers, as we have seen. No, it may be for a blast furnace stove, or it may be for a continuous casting machine. You can just take any one example and mention those plant inputs parameters here, and say mention that this is iron and steel process, and these are all the different processes. You can put number of sections here: melting section, casting section, rolling section, heat treating section, like that. So from each section, it is taking the plant inputs and then processing the thing. So rest everything remains common as far as computer applications is concerned. The only difference is the process and the process control parameters, which are nothing but plant inputs to the iron and steel industry. Same thing if you are asked about the in pharmaceutical industry, what are the computer applications? Same thing. You will be studying the typical applications of a pharmaceutical industry, and that you will be mentioning here, and rest everything will be the same. So that's how it is a very, very clear and simple topic here. Okay, all that you need to understand is what happens at different stages and how your management information system. This will be there at a huge plant where the total display for the management will be displayed about the total production planning and controller. So if you go on stretching this slide, if you link all the communications with other supervisory systems, and if you link all the supervisory control with other DDCs, and this will be a huge network. But for now, for the sake of understanding the computer applications in a typical iron and steel industry, this is sufficient, right? Only the thing is, you will modify the, or you will indicate the process here. Now let's come back to this. So when areas of computer applications in steel plant automation is nothing but application of IT, connecting one another, because with less human intervention, if you control a typical process, we normally call it as automation. That's the only difference. Now, what happens in iron and steel plant in automation is you have different areas in steel plant. Okay, so what is that one? Let's take one is blast furnace. Blast furnace is one area here, and to that you are connecting a control and signal processing, communication and networking, simulation, design, analysis and optimization, real-time computing, and building up the database for that. And once the database is there, this can be connected to your actual control system here. From this, the database is connected to all over the plant. And that's the basic difference. Now here you will see these areas, you can have this block alone replaces for blast furnace control system. You have an electric arc furnace control system. Similarly, continuous casting machine control system. If you mention here, for every area, this remains the same. Now, how do we understand this? Now, for each, let's say we have seen very exhaustively the blast furnace stove, right? Now, for this stove alone, if you take it here in this block, then how do we understand this? So you need to understand the control and signal processing of the blast furnace stove. That means how many parameters are there? We have seen the typical control system. How many process parameters are there? How they are controlled? How the signal is processed? All that you have to work out. And then in the next stage, you also have to also analyze how you are going to communicate with one controller with another, and how you are going to network the different controllers. Because we have seen you have a pressure regulating controller, flow regulating controller, flow indicating controller, flow transmitter or temperature transmitter, like this level transmitter, level indicating controller. So all these devices, how you are going to connect or network for intercommunication purpose. Then after that, you need to simulate the data, design it, analyze, and optimize. That means you have to run a pilot run before you design it with some simulation conditions, and then design the process parameters, analyze them, and optimize them for a given production rate. What should be the set points for different control systems, for different flow systems, for different temperature control systems? What are the set points? That's how we normally call them as optimization. Now, once you do the simulation testing, then you have to do for a real-time computing. You connect all these direct digital controllers to the system, to the plant directly, and then compute the real-time testing. We normally call it as. Mostly in process industry, you will not do real-time testing directly. First, you do simulation, optimize the process parameter, then you test it for real-time computing. Once you do it, then build up the database for this. Okay, so this is what we normally call as computer applications of computers in iron and steel industry. Now, the only thing here it is, if it is steel plant, you have to go on mentioning for different systems, okay, different unit operations, whether it is blast furnace or coke oven plant or hot air stove or electric arc furnace or oxygen lancing, electrical rolling mill or continuous casting machine or a heat treatment furnace. So whatever may be the thing, for each area, for each unit operation, you have to do all these things and then go and connect it to decide the logic of what should be the logic of a standalone process controller, what should be the logic of a direct digital control, what is the logic of a supervisory control, what is the logic for production planning and control. This is how you build up the algorithm control logic based on the earlier diagram that we have seen. Then, so this is a typical process application controller we will see, because we have just so far seen the computer applications, but also we have seen at the bottom standalone process controllers. So the standalone process controllers are typically like this. You have a process and then your measuring unit, it can be a sensor or a transducer, and then you are giving it to a comparator. Okay, this is comparator, called comparator, means a typical op-amp. Okay, you are giving a measuring unit, then nothing but a feedback signal. You are giving a set point. If set point is 70 degrees centigrade and the measuring unit is 69 degrees centigrade, you are getting set point is 70 degrees centigrade. So there is an error, and that error is given to the control unit. Control unit corrects it and accordingly sends the output through the output unit to the process application, so that it increases the heat again. So when it comes back next, it is coming 71 degrees centigrade. Again, the error is -1. This control unit gives the output to reduce the steam flow so that the temperature reduces. Again, when it comes back, it is 69.5, compares it, error signal, again increases the steam, 70. So that is how the entire thing will be maintained compared to the set point. So these set points are decided based on the logic that we are doing here in anything. So you are ultimately identifying, optimizing the set points for different process parameters for different controllers all over the plant, then accordingly fixing the set points. So these set points decide the functioning of each process controller. Now this is for a typical controller. And this is another thing for a PID controller. Okay, so the application remains same. Your set point is there. Only the thing is how your error is processed, because your error is processed one way in the on-off controller, another way in PI proportional controller or integral controller or derivative controller or a PID controller, all the three put together, or a cascade control. You have number of such controls. So the error that is coming out of the comparator is given back to the controller, and this controller gives a typical control signal to the output unit, and this output unit can be an actuator which is driving or operating a process control valve, which is either controlling the flow of steam to reduce the temperature or increase the temperature, or reducing the air to increase the combustion or decrease the combustion, or controlling the chilled water flow rate either to cool or further cool. This is how the entire process controller works. I think this is what we understand in typical computer applications in iron and steel industry. Okay, remember, this can be a common topic for every, because we have 3 or 4 industries. For every industry, this remains the common topic, but the only change being here. Okay, you have to mention that whichever industry the question is being asked to explain, you have to mention the different sub processes in that process industry here, and then mention some typical plant inputs. Similarly here, for this diagram, you have to mention the sub processor. You can write one diagram here and say it is for the continuous casting machine. Write another diagram here and say for blast furnace stove, like that. So industry to industry, the concept is almost same, the computer applications, but how it is done to individual unit operation, that's what matters. Okay, so this is about the computer applications in iron and steel industry.